video, we're going for a drive in my Porsche 911. We're going to use the same camera and the same car. But what makes the difference between these two shots? Well, it's knowing how to use the camera properly. So today I'll show you how I film this from beginner to pro. We're gonna take this tiny camera, we're gonna mount it all over my Porsche 911, and I'm gonna tell you guys why I think this is one of the most fun cameras for automotive videographers because it is so small. I'm gonna show you the steps that I take to take this from looking like a beginner camera to an absolute pro cinematic camera. And I make quite a few mistakes along the way, so come and learn with me as we mount this on my Porsche 911. One of my favorite features about this camera is it's magnetic. So both the bottom and the back are magnetic, which means that there's a ton of creative shots that you can do with this. So I mounted this camera onto my garage, so you can see when I'm leaving the garage, I just stuck this onto the garage door itself, and we are out shooting with the Porsche. For this first session, I just took this camera out of the box and started shooting how it's designed to shoot out of the box. And it's not bad. There's a lot of fun accessories that you can shoot with this camera. And it also comes with a suction cup, which for the most part works really well inside the car. But when it comes to mounting it outside of the car, I don't really trust this when I'm going high speed with my fast car. So you'll see throughout the video, I actually use this guy here. This one is from iFootage. So this is the difference between the suction cup that's provided by DJI and the one that I use. A nice wide suction cup will allow you actually to get around the edges, the hips, so to speak, of a Porsche 911. You don't necessarily need this one, but I recommend getting a really good magic arm and a larger size suction cup. The first morning that I got this camera, I just wanted to get out and put this camera on as many interesting places on my Porsche as I possibly could. And what I love about it is so small. And so even when you mount this on that little suction cup or the big one, I find it very easy to put this kind of wherever your mind can imagine. I'm gonna be honest, this is the second time I've filled up and I totally forgot where the gas pump was. I also had every intention of cleaning this car for the shoot, but the lineup was like, I was gonna be in the lineup for like 45 minutes, and there goes your shoot day. Listen to this downshift, the auto blip. Very quickly, I was able to find between 10 and 15 places to mount this creatively on your car. So feel free to steal any of these shots for your car videos as you're creating videos. Whether you're using this tiny Osmo Nano or you're using another action camera, or maybe you've got a larger cinema style camera, a lot of these shots will work, but the mounting won't be quite as simple as it is with this one. My absolute favorite feature of this camera is the vision dock. So you can take this camera and the dock apart and you can actually control the camera from this vision dock. So if you're using any other traditional action camera, you're gonna have to mount this on your car somewhere, hit record, start driving, do your shot, and depending on if you can pull over safely or not, that shot's gonna be anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10 minutes long just to get one 15-second clip. Whereas with this camera, you can take it off the dock, mount this camera anywhere on the car that you'd like, start and stop the recording from the vision dock, and you can change the settings on here. That honestly is a huge game changer for automotive content creators, to be able to start and stop this and just get the 15-20 second clip that you actually want. When it comes to camera specs, this one's pretty loaded when it comes to action cameras. It's got a 1/1.3 inch sensor, which isn't massive, but it's gonna be better quality than your iPhone, so it's a really nice step up. And if you want to go even a step further, they have the Action 6 camera, which now has a 1-inch sensor. But again, you don't get this sweet little vision dock. This one, you get what is called open gate. So you're able to shoot in 4:3 mode. Also really fantastic for content creators. So we can shoot once in a 4:3 format. And then we have the ability to crop that in for social media if we want, or use it for YouTube, which is what you guys are seeing here. I was using the camera primarily in 4K 24 frames per second, but this camera can shoot up to 4K 120. So a little powerhouse of an action camera. And if you get the settings right, which I'll show you guys a little later, it actually looks very cinematic, and I'm very impressed by this little camera. Out of the box, I find the settings to be a little bit over sharpened. You can tell you're not getting that natural motion blur, and so a lot of these shots still look quite action cam-like. So after reviewing the footage, I knew I needed to put some ND filters on it, and so I picked up a set of newer ND filters, so I'll leave a link in the description down below so you guys can pick those up. What's cool about this is you can actually screw these lenses right off and put them directly on the camera there. And once you put ND filters on, it steps this camera up from a really beginner level action camera into a pro level, almost cinema-like quality camera. You're able to control the settings in pro mode using manual exposure, so you can set your shutter speed at 1/50 if you're shooting in 24 frames per second. Then you can use either auto ISO, which I do, and then you can set the exposure value. So I tend to set this camera around -0.7 exposure value. And the reason I do that is that way we can keep our highlights exposed properly. Using D-Log-M and 10-bit in this camera, which really does separate this little action camera from some of the competitors, is having that depth of color that you don't get in some other action cameras. That's what I believe separates DJI from some of the competitors, is having that bit depth. And then you're able to put a simple color grade over it and add some dynamic colors to this, whether you're using LUTs or color grades. Well, you can check out my LUTs again in the description below. A setting that I highly recommend you go into is actually in the pro settings. You can go in and turn the texture down, which is essentially sharpening, and they have a noise reduction feature that I also tend to turn down, specifically if I'm shooting in broad daylight. I don't really need that noise suppression, so I turn those both down to -2, and this is how I find that I'm able to get that more cinematic look. It doesn't look like an over sharpened action camera. After taking the camera out initially and just using the baked in settings, and then taking it out a second time with ND filters and actually putting it through its cinematic paces, I was able to really get a sense of what this camera is capable of. And if I put these visuals side by side, you'll see a massive difference between the out-of-box settings and the settings that you can get when you really dial it in. But that really does help take this camera from an action cam look into a more cinematic world. So we're currently rocking this with rock steady off. Again, I just like that more visceral feeling with the car, but it's up to you if you want to use that. Another great part of the DJI ecosystem is if you have DJI mics, like this is the DJI Mic 3, you can sync it very easily to this camera. So as an automotive content creator, I'm able to put these microphones either as a vlogger, or I can put it on the back of the car and get the exhaust sounds. All right, so I've turned the microphone down to -6 on the gain, which I figured out how to do when I was back in the office. So we're gonna put this back on the car and see if it will not peak on the audio. Now, something that I learned through shooting with this is once you actually have the mic synced, you go into that pro mode and you're able to adjust the decibel levels. So I highly recommend turning that down once you get the mics connected so that you're not peaking your audio. I noticed for the first half of the day, I was peaking my audio because I had that set at 0. And if you're like me, you probably watched a lot of reviews on this camera, and when the dock and the camera are separated and you have the mic attached to the camera, a lot of people were griping that you couldn't use the Vision dock anymore because the mic was using the wireless connection. DJI has fixed this in their firmware update. Now, it's not perfect if you have the mic connected to the dock and you have them separated. You can view the video until you start recording. Once you hit record, then the vision goes away from the dock and you can't see what's on the back of the screen anymore. But you're able to get your composition, get your exposure, all that right before you start recording. The second thing that they fixed in their firmware update is that you can actually review your footage without putting the camera back on the Vision dock. So you can get a low res preview of what you shot. So if you want to make sure that you got the shot when it's still on the outside of the car, or maybe you've magnetized it up somewhere fun, you can actually review that shot, make sure you got the shot before you take it back down or dismount it and put it somewhere else. How cool is that? A couple of practical things shooting with this camera. The battery life is pretty darn good. When I went to go charge this between my shooting sessions, it charged up really quickly. It prioritizes charging the camera itself and then starts juicing up the dock. Additionally, when you go to transfer the files from the internal storage of the camera, which has 128 or 64 gigs built in, it's a pretty quick file transfer. It's one of my favorite features that DJI is implementing into all of their new cameras, it seems like, is they have internal storage. So you don't need to go and get a micro SD card for all of your new cameras. They have it built in. So really nice little feature. Thank you, DJI. If you guys like this video, you might want to go watch my delivery video with my brand new Porsche 911. It's a really special one. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you guys would consider subscribing to the channel, and I do hope I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. On that last little drive there, my brother was expressing how much he enjoys the naturally aspirated engine versus the turbo, because it just sings and communicates so much better.
It's awesome, and you feel the power the entire time instead of it just like kicking in and throwing you back in your seat and giving you that shock. So it's just like a constant power rev. It's awesome. So good.
Naturally aspirated, baby.